Om Shanti. Welcome to Masters of Change. The greatest discovery of all time is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Today we have a very special guest with us, Brother Matthias from Switzerland. He has been a headmaster and is now a practicing stress and resilience coach. He has also been a spiritual teacher and has been meditating for over 20 years now. We will hear from Brother now. Thank you so much for being here. We welcome you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Brother Matthias, I understand from your bio that you've had a couple of roles in life as a headmaster, a coach, a spiritual teacher. But how did this begin? How did your journey start? How did you get on to this path of spirituality?
Yes, so there was a special day in my life where my life took a completely different course. I just finished my university, I had my first jobs, and actually everything seemed to be very well. Good job, many friends, and Switzerland anyway is a very nice country. But I noticed for quite some time, maybe a year or two, that my happiness was slowly fading away. But I had no idea what the reason could be for that. And also, I would not even talk with others about it.
Okay.
So others noticed a bit of a change, but so I was a little bit hopeless, so to say.
Okay.
And then there was a day where I was going to move into a different flat.
Okay.
And a few days before moving, the owner told me, I've given it to someone else.
Okay.
So there was no place to stay in. And then the same day I went to my work, and the boss told me that this company is going to be bankrupt.
Okay.
And so no job, no place to stay, and I felt great. So others would think it's a very tragical day.
Yeah.
But for me, I sensed this is a huge chance for me. And I knew I need kind of time out. And I planned then to go to Australia to improve my English and then proceed with a professional career.
Okay.
That was what I explained to everyone, but inside I felt I'm not quite sure if not something else is going to happen.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't see myself like focusing on a work career.
Okay.
It just didn't seem attractive enough to me.
Okay.
So anyway, I set off for traveling. I thought before Australia I go to Burma. And then Burma, I met many people who were into meditation.
Okay.
And I learned about Vipassana, these 10 days meditation courses.
Yeah.
And I knew, okay, this is what I'm going to do once.
Okay.
And then I would travel. After Burma, I went to Laos, Thailand, and I kept meeting people who have been to India.
Okay.
And they told amazing stories about this country.
Yeah.
Until I felt I have to see this country. And instead of going to Australia, I went to India.
Okay.
And then I was traveling in India. And arriving in India, first Nepal, and in India, and arriving in this culture, something inside, there was a shift, suddenly a great interest in spirituality.
Okay.
It felt really good. I felt that something to discover here.
Okay.
But on the contrary, there was a challenge. What do you go for? So I made a course into Buddhism to learn more about that. And I thought that's great, but still I'm looking for something. And then I would look into Sikhism and Hinduism. I did Vipassana course. So all that was very good.
Okay.
But still I was a little bit looking for something. And then in my guidebook, a travel guidebook, I read about Brahma Kumaris.
Okay.
And it said World Spiritual University. And this is what attracted me. I thought this is a university so this must be knowledge for everyone, objective knowledge.
Yeah.
Not only for a specific group, but something for everyone.
Yeah.
And so I came here. I remember early in the morning, I arrived by bus in Mount Abu.
Okay.
And then I waited for the museum to open. I went to the museum, and then I felt there's something different here. Something different.
Okay.
And then the people sent me up to the main quarter, and then I did Raj Yoga course, and then that was it. It was like, after one session, when the sister told me that you are a soul and have a body, and not the other way around, I knew this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah, that was a big change in my life then.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So after you did the course, how was the course of your life?
I started discovering new parts, new feelings in myself.
Okay.
For example, the first time I was sitting for morning class in Om Shanti Bhavan, the big hall, I felt so good without having a reason. So nothing happened. I would just sit there, and I didn't have the language of it's the vibrations, and I just noticed I'm sitting here and I feel as good as I've never felt before. So these kind of experiences I would have.
Okay.
Or then later on in Australia, for example, I went to Australia. I was queuing up and surrounded by a crowd of elderly people.
Okay.
And I was a young lad, 30 years. And before I would just be interested in my friends. But then I was surrounded by these elderly people, and suddenly I felt I love them. I love them all. I like them. I like everyone. And these kind of feelings, they were new to me. This being more unlimited, and not so much focused on my people or my friends. And so that was, and this then continued to develop more and more. To be, I think, more open to everyone. And that, in my work as a headmaster, I think that that helped me a lot.
Okay.
Because the school I was headmaster of, it was in a rather poor area.
Okay.
This also exists in Switzerland. So people with little education, but I would just love to deal with these simple people. Okay. And I felt I understand their problems and their challenges in life. And just this understanding and this love for people, I think this helped finding solutions.
Okay.
So as a headmaster, you always have to find solutions for all kind of problems.
Yeah. So meditation helped you?
Meditation helped a great deal, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So after you did the course, you went to Australia, you stayed at a retreat center.
Yes.
And then you returned home.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you returned home, I'm sure there must have been so many changes that people could witness. So how did your family, your friends react to those changes?
Yeah, that was a very interesting phase actually. Also a bit challenging because when I left and when I came back, I felt I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
I have a new set of values. I have new aims. Things that were important for me before were completely unimportant.
Okay.
So I had to learn how to deal with the situation. Yeah. So for example, when I arrived, all my previous friends, they would come to receive me, to welcome me at the airport. And they would come with beer and champagne. Because before, every weekend, we would go out, we would do party, and that's how they knew me. But when I arrived, not a single one would offer me something to drink. That was interesting. I think they felt that this is no longer for me. And so I arrived, and it was a meeting on a different level.
Yeah.
Not just an old friends meeting, but very respectful.
Okay.
A little bit as if they would meet someone new. But then still we would spend a bit of time together afterwards. And after some time I realized these are very good people, but we have now different aims for our lives. So slowly, they would go their way and I went my way.
Yeah.
And that was very important to stay true to my new reality inside.
How about your family? How did they see these changes?
They were a little bit uncertain to begin with.
Yeah.
Because before I would be very outgoing and do, let's say, many funny but also not very intelligent things. So somehow people were also missing this part.
Yeah.
And they had to become familiar with this new person. But when they saw that this is actually good for me, for my life, they then appreciated what I'm doing.
Wonderful.
Some very quickly, like my mother, my sister, and the 2 brothers. It took a bit time.
Okay.
Took a bit time.
Okay.
But now we have very respectful relationships.
Wonderful.
And if someone has a challenge, they come to me. I find it interesting, even though I'm the youngest.
Okay.
But I think the fact that I'm meditating and engaging in this spiritual study, somehow they see that this is a resource we can use when we face challenges.
So, Brother Matthias, you've shared your journey of how you got into this, how your family, your friends reacted. What did you feel? Now, when you had spent a certain amount of time as a meditator, did you see any benefits from meditation come into your life? What was your personal experience?
Yeah, my personal experience was when I did the course first, it was a big relief.
Okay.
A big relief, like coming home and finally knowing what I want to do with my life.
Yeah.
Because even though I did the university studies in economics, I somehow found I'm not sure what this is going to lead to.
Yeah.
But then the addition of spirituality, this made it very clear to me. This is more important.
Right.
This is first priority, and what I'm doing with my spiritual growth, that this will affect all areas of life.
Yeah.
And indeed, as a headmaster, for example, it helped a lot just to remain calm and respectful. For example, when people, let's say teachers, had there was some opposition, for example, and then there were also challenges. And when they saw that, let's say, the next day, I would again approach them with openness and with respect, without any trace of anger because of they did something maybe that was not correct.
Yeah.
I think they appreciated that a lot.
Wonderful.
Just that I think we all want to be liked and appreciated by others.
Yeah. And in such a space, I think people also grow. So the teachers that you were dealing with must have also found the space to be very comfortable for them to bring in some better changes in themselves.
I think it helped them to open up with to be true to themselves and also to me and tell me about the challenges they would face. Because there was no fear of being judged or labeled afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Which is a very safe space to be in.
Exactly, yeah.
So you worked as a headmaster for how long?
For 15 years.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And you were a meditator alongside?
Exactly, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have complete experience of balancing meditation with professional life.
I think so, yeah. I would always have my spiritual life before going to work.
Okay.
And before I was meditating, I had a different job in the field of marketing.
Okay.
And so I remember I would go to work, and everything I had in my mind was, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. The to-do list was constantly on my mind.
Yeah.
So, and I had no control over the mind. And I knew, now I know for sure, if this would have continued, it would have been very difficult for me.
Right.
I think it would have created a lot of problems in my life.
Right.
But then being a meditator, I had my spiritual life beforehand, meditating in the morning, studying some spiritual knowledge, and then I would go to work, and with a sense of, I have already accumulated inside. I have already done that which is important.
Indeed.
And in the evening, I took the decision, when I close the door to my office, I just leave the problems inside.
Yeah.
And before it would come with me, of course, the whole evening I would think about work.
Yeah.
But this completely changed.
Okay.
So it's like finishing my workday and then entering into something else.
Right. So as a meditator, do you feel that you made some inner changes in yourself, and those changes led to much better manifestations outside, in the outer world?
Yes, I would say so, definitely. So one is the energy, the energy that I felt it's accumulating in the soul.
Yeah.
It's like when I leave home in the morning in a state of peace, then this would stay with me during the day.
Right.
I don't say it's always 100% like that, but that carried me definitely through the day. But the energy is one thing. The other thing is a different understanding, and it's the different way of approaching challenges.
Okay.
For example, when kids would come to my office, so after the break, like the boys, they would play soccer, and then every so often there would be a fight, and then they would come in my office. Mr. Stefan, he has done this, he has done that. And so they would fight, and then often I would say, hold on. Before I listen to you, you tell me 3 good things about this one, and you tell me 3 good things about this one.
Yeah.
And the kids, being so innocent, they immediately were reflecting, he shares his snack with me, he's very good in soccer, and so they did it. And afterwards I would ask, and now what's the problem? And then they say, that's okay, no problem. Because their attention was shifted away from the problem to something positive, and that was then actually the solution.
Wonderful.
So a different way of dealing with problems.
So now you've transitioned from the role of a headmaster to a stress and resilience coach.
Yes. Yeah.
And a spiritual teacher.
Yes.
So would you tell us a little bit about the various initiatives that the Brahma Kumaris have taken in Switzerland? What all do you do as a part of service?
In Zurich, it's more that we offer also programs outside, but we create this oasis in the meditation center where people can just come without notice, without registration. So everybody knows it's open and can go there. Okay. And so some make use of that on a very regular basis. And some, they come seldom. Okay. And some, they come very seldom. But sometimes they say, just for me to know that this is the place I could go to. This gives me inner peace or security. But it's more that we offer Raj Yoga courses, positive thinking, talks on different topics, very much related to day-to-day life, and also online programs.
Wonderful.
That started with COVID, of course.
Okay. That's wonderful.
And then another city in Switzerland, there's in Geneva, there's the headquarters of the UN, United Nations. And so from this center, they're also in service of the United Nations.
Okay.
Meaning like organizing side events, inviting representatives, and so on.
Okay. So, brother, what would you tell someone who's just starting out as, someone who's new on the journey of meditation or trying to rediscover themselves? What would your message be for them?
My message would be to take the need that many people feel inside, the need to somehow do something. And maybe without being able to give it words or knowing what exactly, to give this space. Because I think we live, especially in the West, but maybe all over the world, in quite a fast speed, on a fast pace, every day. And I think we have become quite good in suppressing or just accepting a level of suffering, and we think, okay, that's the way life is, and there's nothing you can do. But to listen to this inner voice and create this space and start off this journey of meditation and self-discovery. But the first thing is really to take this seriously, I think. Because I find many people are very responsible. For example, people in Switzerland on their jobs, they're very responsible. Like they really try to do their best, and we know this phenomenon of burnout. That means people neglect their personal needs to such an extent and focus so much on the task and job that they get burned out. So I would like to see this kind of responsibility for one's own well-being. To take that really serious. And then this will then have a good influence on all areas of life anyway. So my one suggestion would be give space to this inner voice. Space to the soul.
Because it is often neglected.
Very much. Very much,
Brother, how would you define change? I'm asking you this because we see you as a master of change. So how would you define change in your life? What's the meaning of change for you?
Interesting. I haven't thought about that, even though I have experienced a lot of change. I think often the focus when it comes to change is outside. So I know we all know people who would like to change this and that and situation, especially other people. And it can even be successful for some time, but it would never last. And to see what change can I bring about inside, I think this is the really interesting part. Because bringing about change outside, the possibilities are very limited. There's many things we cannot bring about change. Whereas the change inside is actually unlimited. And I think we are now in a time where things outside are very, very unpredictable and are subject to very fast change. So maybe I would be successful at changing something outside, but in a very short time it takes again another form. So constantly I would be adapting situations outside. And so to give that up, I would call that fighting, to give up this fight. It's we need to stop fighting now with external things.
Indeed.
And then see what kind of attitudes and thoughts I can change inside. That's how I understand change. And this comes into words, into actions, into relationships.
I think first at the thought level, and then it transforms into words, actions.
Exactly. I think no matter how long we meditate, be it 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, I think we always come back to this simple truth. Yes, I can and must change my thoughts.
Yes, that's the crux.
That exactly, yeah. We are a little bit stuck in something. And we find it's very difficult. The moment we accept something the way it is and change our thinking, our attitude, then things start flowing again.
Right. Indeed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing your inspiring journey with us, starting with travel, being a headmaster, being a spiritual teacher, to now being a coach. It's indeed very interesting and inspiring to understand the various experiments that you've done with meditation in your life. And I'm sure our viewers must have also taken a number of learnings from this. So thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to all our viewers for your time, your understanding, and we hope that you will imbibe the various lessons shared by Brother Matthias today. He shared something that I think is going to really stay with me. We need to create space for better things in our life. We need to create space for our inner voice to be heard by ourselves. Because when we hear our own needs, our own voice, we will know what exactly is the path that we must take. Thank you so much once again. Om Shanti.